Welcome back. We realized that there were a lot of questions, and we kept on talking, and that was going to be a really long one-part video. So
now it's two parts.
Welcome to part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh no!
I went there.
He should not go there.
I did.
All right, Kin Cabot Kent. I think I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah, bravo. I would have messed that up.
In the video, Engineer Puzzle Blocks, you made a very cool key. Can you show me how you did that? I really enjoy your videos and glad I found your channel. Keep up the great work, Kent.
We are already on a version 2 of that.
We don't want to show you that because we're not happy with it.
Pretty much all the details that we can give you were in that video, and that used...
it's a 4-pin...
Yeah, it was a 4-pin connector and LEDs built into, basically soldered into what would be the cable part of the housing, with the acrylic coming out of that so that it lit up. There were some problems with that. I have since come up with a version 2 that will be better, faster, not really faster, but definitely smarter and less likely to explode, because with that one, there was the voltage drop from the LED was actually a necessary part of the mechanism, and occasionally those LEDs would pop just because a lot of reasons and math I won't get into.
So the one other thing though is that if you look up FTL drive key from Battlestar Galactica, we have a future key that will be based primarily on that design, where it's a double gang, single pin prong connector, a 1/4 inch. The main problem that we have with that key style was that the pins that stick up out of the female end, if the cylinder penetrates it at an angle because people are being asses, they bend,
as mentioned earlier,
they bend the pins. So the only way to get around that is to use something called a scoop-proof connector. Scoop-proof connector, and they're incredibly expensive. So, and I'm talking about $800 for a single key. So we're working on a different solution to that problem.
The question is, has there been an escape room prop a customer has asked you to build that you could not figure out how to do? And more love. We like the love. Not to, well, to toot our own horn, the answer is no. And this is going back into well before the escape rooms. When clients called us, we had the wonderful / horrible habit of, they say, we need a this, and we were like, yeah, we can do that. And then we hang up the phone, look at each other with semi-terrified expressions and say, how the hell are we going to do this? And then we figure it out. It won't necessarily be that, yes, we can do exactly that, exactly as you have envisioned. We often have to work with a client to steer them away from the highly problematic things into a solution that we know will work.
Still within keeping of what they're looking for. In other words, just a minor tweak generally takes care of the problem, and that generally comes from people who have a high concept and have developed the concept to a high degree, but without any reference to how it would be accomplished technically. So those two things do have to work together, but it's generally that's a small tweaky problem, not a big problem.
Question is, obviously the best way to improve with the skills you guys show is by doing, but what would you recommend watching / reading to help improve? I wholeheartedly agree. I'm a very kinesthetic, I think is the word, learner. I need to do it, I need to mess it up, then I need to do it again, and mess it up a little less badly, and then do it again. We kind of joke there are 3 ways to teach a Marine: repetition, repetition, and repetition. So other sources, right now, off the top of my head, specifically working with Arduino and Raspberry Pi and all of that, I'm a big fan of Paul McWhorter's page. He has toptechboy.com, or you can look for Paul McWhorter on the YouTube, and he is very, very painstakingly detailed. He's a middle school or high school teacher, so his lessons are geared towards that, and they are excellent. So check him out.
So there's that for electronics. There are quite a few resources on YouTube about how to build cabinetry, and those are the style of woodworking that we do. It's kind of like a high-end cabinet. For style, I would say tested.com has quite a few videos on production design stuff. They go behind the scenes and look at production design and see how things are built for the movies, which is great for style, not good for strength. So you have to be able to take a couple of these different disciplines and put them together, and we've been practicing this for 10 years, which is where we are now. This is from Kohn von
Your wife is German. You should be able to do this.
That's Dutch. And I don't want to screw this up because it's Dutch, but it's Kern van Dommelen. And I apologize profusely for butchering your name. Hi guys, is there a project you always wanted to do, and will it come true? Or did it come true / will it come true in the near future? Yes. And we're not going to tell you what that is. I love the question though. We get very excited about what we do, and it hurts us to turn it over to a client, to be honest with you. We really fall in love with our stuff, and we want to just have it all setting around us and just stare at it all day. That would be our dream. From Thomas McDowell, could you make a habit of fully identifying your materials and their sources on your regular videos comment section?
Amazon?
We will try to do a better job of that. I try to identify things in the video because we're shooting this on the fly and we're not terribly disciplined. We're not a professional YouTube channel that where YouTube is our source of income. We make no money. We make about $40 a month from YouTube, and we spend upwards of $400 a month in editing and in time lost. So we're fantastically losing money on YouTube, but we're going to keep doing it. All right, this question Matt's going to love is from Talaxian3. I don't know if this was asked before or if you already did a video about this. Have you ever tried to duplicate any portion of a classic puzzle games from video games like Myst or Time Lapse?
Yes. So
ideas come from everywhere.
Yes. So in the largest room of the spaceship that we did for Red Door, we kept on calling it the Skyrim puzzle because if you've ever played Bethesda's Skyrim, one of the dungeons in there, and many of the dungeons, they have the puzzles where you have to turn these columns around to different animal things facing you. They were all really easy because it's generally just you have like, okay, there's an eagle, there's an eagle there, and you make a match. There was one of them where when you turn one column, other columns turn independently, and you have to figure out that this one turns all of them, this one only turns 3, this one only turns 2, and then this last one just does itself.
And that puzzle was based on that concept.
So we did the same thing where you push this button and it turns 5 screens. So you have to find the one that turns all the screens, 5, 4, 3, 2, then 1. So that was based on Skyrim. One that we haven't gotten to do yet was possibly going to be for that same game, and we've kind of got it back pocket. Preston was working on this one a lot. There was a board game from like the late 70s, early 80s called Mastermind, where one player would set up a series of colored pins and the other player had to take guesses at that, and then based on feedback you had to try to crack their code. So we were working on a digital version of that.
An automated digital version of Mastermind. From KB. Hey KB.
That guy.
Yeah. KB is a friend of the channel. I'll just say that. Escape room or non-escape room questions. How did you and Matt meet and start the business? I hit him with my car.
Yes. And ran me all the way over. That's why I walk with a limp.
I was flying. I was a commercial pilot. Matt was a Marine and working in various other jobs at the same time. He came back from Iraq after having a lot of fun in Iraq, in Fallujah. And I had actually left my flying job, long story. I still fly, I still have a commercial pilot's license, but I don't do it for a living anymore. And I had been discovered because of something else that I had done, and somebody said, have you ever looked at being a set builder? I signed with an agency, was successful with that agency, and I was with that agent for about 2 years. Matt came back from Iraq after I'd been doing it for about 6 months, and I introduced him because we were already friends. We just met through a mutual friend. This goes back to about 2003. When he came back from Iraq, I introduced him to the agent and said, this guy has a similar skill set to me. And so she
Except
signed.
Better.
He was signed as well. We worked on parallel gigs for a period of time. And then the few times that we worked together very well. We also knew how to communicate very well, as we still do. And so as we worked on a couple of gigs together, we looked at other sets that were being built and stuff, and we said, well, we could do all this. And we came up with the idea to open our own shop. And within I think probably 8 months of just having that initial conversation, we'd saved up our money to buy a couple of rudimentary shop tools that we needed and got a small 1,000 square foot space, which within 6 months we had doubled to 2,000 square feet. And then about 3 years later, it went from 2,000 to 3,000 square feet. And it's just grown since then. Word of mouth has sort of just catapulted us forward as we stumble forward.
We've never had a normal year. We haven't, I don't think yet, had 2 years where our client base was even terribly similar. The business model is continually changing, now getting into the escape rooms and all that.
All right, so 2 more from KB. What's the hardest project you and Matt have ever built? I'm going to answer the question this way. Difficulty to us is not really the question. It's we have small jobs and big jobs, and the amount of effort we put into a big job is obviously greater than the amount of effort we put into a small job. We constantly fail and learn and move forward, and so I can't necessarily answer the question simply. Escape rooms in general have more varied challenges than other builds. Being able to control something on a set, on a soundstage, or having something be a viewed piece that people aren't going to handle, that's obviously easier than something that people are going to handle. It has to stand up to the public. All the challenges that come into escape room design. So I would say that in general, escape rooms are the hardest things that we work on.
In general, I would say the hardest job is the next one, because we are continually learning. So what we aim to do is take everything we know and then go one step farther. So we're going to do basically open up as much of our bag of tricks as applies, and then get something new in there, because we need to be continually expanding and learning, because it's not fun otherwise.
Yeah, if you're not learning, then yeah, you're just kind of static. Also, it's the process of constant learning is also a process of constant improvement. And we have had clients that have pushed us beyond where we even thought we could go in a very short order, because they simply demanded something. There are stories we could tell you. And then favorite tool, not necessarily a power tool to work with. Yeah, that's my favorite tool to work with.
I guess it's a similar answer to the last one. I like working with the new tool. We always like getting new tools and learning on new tools. When we first got it was obviously the CNC machine, because everything was new. And as we're getting into electronics, I'm just a soldering iron and proto boards and all of that.
It's whatever feels right in my hand at that time, and sometimes it's I can't say again. There's no good answer. The favorite tool that I have is the grouping of tools. It is the ability to go from one thing to the next and be able to just systematically solve and break down and solve every problem as a process of refinement. So my favorite tool is all the tools.
Okay. The favorite tool is everything except for the sander.
Yeah, I am a human sander. That's my job.
No one likes sanding, but my God, if we just did straight up video of what we're building, half of it is sanding.
Yeah. From Nick Bastra, and I know that's Dutch. What escape room type / genre would you like to build that has never been seen before by you guys? Can't tell you that, because it is you will see it. As far as genre goes, I like science fiction. I'll say genre. I like science fiction, and I like superheroes.
Yes, sci-fi stuff, and a lot of what I've seen escape rooms, and I've seen some really good ones where it's very much like a haunted house horror thing. Those are really cool. That's not my bag. We'll do stuff with that, and coming up, we are doing some stuff with that. Science fiction, and we like the meta stuff, where you are acknowledging what genre you're in and playing with that. So for the escape rooms, I kind of like stuff where you take the genre and make it a little bit campy, so that you're not trying to be all serious. You will die if you don't escape. You can. I like it where you're obviously having fun with it.
In our spaceship, we have Easter eggs hidden around the room, and it's just kind of a delight for someone if they discover it. It's like, oh my God. And it's just, Easter eggs are fun. Ryan T. Photography asks, what do you guys enjoy more, working on escape room related projects or more traditional set pieces and props? Have you ever built a mobile escape room like in a large trailer or something similar? Any tips on what to keep in mind knowing the room will be on the move? And we have not to date built a mobile escape room that is out there. We have some stuff that we haven't showed you. And so that, the answer to that is you will see that in the future. That is something that a client has not commissioned. We're doing this on our own. This is sort of a labor of love piece that's happening behind, it's over there. As far as more traditional props and set pieces are what we enjoy more?
The escape rooms, because they are interactive. Props can be really, really, really cool, and they are. We just got to go to the North Texas prop party for the Replica Prop Forum at Philip Wise's magnificent studio. And there's a lot of really, really cool stuff out there, but I like being able to make something that is interactive, that does do something.
As opposed to simply a hand prop that is an object for somebody to hold, even if it were a fake gun or something like that. That stuff is all enjoyable, but when you get to put that much more inventiveness into something,
it's taking that cool thing and making it do something.
Cincinnati Cats asks a question that we actually just answered, so I'm gonna, hey Cincinnati Cats. Okay, here's a good one. This is from Alejandro Sanchez, and he says, please tell me if you've received calls from escape rooms offering you to build them a set in exchange for royalties.
Yes.
Yes, we have, and we haven't taken them up to date. Maybe we will in the future. Right now, we have to be so concentrated and involved with what we're doing right now. Also, we run the risk of starting to compete with ourselves if somebody in a specific city asked us to build something and then we build something else in that city. Well, now we're actually competing against our own game, and we can't do that to the first client. We can't do that to ourselves. We couldn't, and then then it raises the question of, well, we're not doing something well because we don't want company number 2 to compete with company number 1 because we own a stake in it. I don't see us doing that. Although we've been made some very respectable offers.
Partially, it's running the math, and it's good offers, but we've come out on the side of taking a lump sum, and it's mostly a perceived conflict of interests. We don't want to have anyone thinking that, oh, because we're already having royalties from company A, that we don't want to work with anyone else, because that's just not true. We love all of you.
I'm very curious to know what type of budgets you guys have in the rooms you design. Also, are the ideas your ideas or the people ordering it? Or I mean, do they tell you to build us a Mayan temple, or do they tell you to build one of these that does this and that and does this? Like basically, so how involved is the client in design or in puzzle structure? And now I'm going to omit several other people who have asked the same question in different ways. So we're going to broaden this out a little bit and combine questions that were very similar. On budget, we don't just build complete rooms. We will build individual units, puzzles. We'll do room design without building puzzles. So it's kind of all over the place. There's no real way for us to give you a solid answer. On the low end, we're probably looking at about $30,000 to $40,000 for the simplest and smallest things that we've done.
For a full room.
Yes, for full room design. Individual
components
could all be
obviously
yeah. The high end is generally around 130. That is the most incredibly technical, maxed out thing we've done. And as things change, that will change as well. I mean, who knows where it ends up in the end, but that's where we are so far. Client input. We have clients who bring us all
over the map
puzzle design, and by the way, to answer another question at the same time, we flow chart the entire game, Everything is designed to be a cinematic experience. So that's kind of our benchmark, is we want it to feel like you're living a movie. So everything cinematically needs to work together. It can't just be there for no reason. It can't feel disjointed. And even when clients bring us their designs and their ideas, we will put them through this process and then challenge the client to justify why something is there if it's not apparent. And it needs to feel justified in being there. So if it doesn't feel justified and it should still be there, the justification needs to appear, and it needs to appear in game form or in narrative form. And so some clients bring us very well formed ideas, and they understand some of the tech that's going to go into it. So they know, well, this is going to be an RFID puzzle. This is going to be an electromechanical device. This is going to be purely mechanical. That's a type of thing. We have clients who have a cinematic idea in their head, but no idea of how to build it. And we have clients that come to us and say, "Hey, you guys have any good ideas?" And we've got a stack of ideas in the bank right now that I don't think anybody's ever seen. So we really enjoy it when clients come to us with that sort of an open end, and we're able to. Generally, we can push it further than a client can because of our past experience in film and other industry things that we've done. So we take client ideas and refine them, or we have our own ideas and we build anything or everything. So really, that's the short answer. All right, well, that takes care of what we've got so far. If we didn't answer your question, comment in this video and ask the question again, and then we'll go, yeah, we did, we answered your question, or we may make another video. But we'll try and keep this dialogue running, because I can't tell you how much we love your comments and the questions that we get. So I'm just glad that it means something to someone, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. And if you're enjoying this video, look, watch another video, or look, it's over there or somewhere, but watch another video.